500 Pearl Street. Sean Diddy Combs, day 25, right in front of the courthouse. On a rainy day in New York City, Diddy's mom and son just left. I think there's only one son that showed up today. That was, what's his name? Is it Christian or Justin? I always confuse the two. Yeah, I think it was Justin. Anyways, I promised you guys I'd come back. Melva's in the building. I love that Melva's always the first one in here. Natasha, what up? Cheryl, what up? Troy D, what up? Tez is always in the building. What up? Miss Beasley, I think it was pronounced. What up? Miss International, what up? Yo, 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 yo. Andrea, I'm getting pretty good with pronouncing these names, huh? Y'all know I'm bad at pronouncing names. Whoop, we from South Africa. South Africa's always in the house. All my lives got my South African people in here. What up? Yes, Angela King, Tiffany, Marie, Blessings, Desert Flower, Amanda, what up? Arizona, South Africa. See, these are my original Out Louders, so y'all know I love to know where you guys are from, man. You know, I know when you come in and you tell me where you're from, I know that you're an original follower, and you definitely are following me daily out here. What is going on, y'all? Thank you, Trent. You are very, very welcome. Trent, you've been looking good all week. Thank you very much. Oakland in the house, much love. Crystal here, what up? Hey, Trent. Guys, what? Something, Freakoff? Something, I don't know what that was. Guys, sorry at lunchtime that I wasn't able to. Kansas City in the building, South Carolina. South Carolina, come on and raise up. Actually, that's supposed to be North Carolina, that song. North Carolina, somebody from North Carolina said what's up, but South Carolina, what up? Charlemagne is from there. I know a couple of people that I met at the podcast festival. Shout out to South Carolina. Where's he from? Charleston, South Carolina, right? Daily, brother, what up? Coca is here, Brittany's here, what up? Sorry I wasn't able to get to any of the questions at lunchtime. I hate doing lives at lunch because I am rushing and I'm all over the place. And I'm always rushing. Hey, what's up? Are you waving at me? Yeah. Hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm always rushing. That's why I thought you guys were waving at him. I was like, I don't know who's waving at. Yeah, I'm always rushing at lunch, and I hate when you guys are asking questions and I'm not able to answer them. So, end of the day, relief. Put your questions in the chat. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of an update, a daily summary. These are my favorite lives. I could really talk to you guys and get in and have a conversation. Y'all know me, I like to chat and talk with y'all, all right? Somebody says that's not Japan. Yeah, North Carolina. Somebody from North Carolina is in the house. North Carolina, come on and raise up. Take your shirt off. Whoop, whoop. Did Brendan testify? Melva's like, can we get to the point, Trent? Melva's got to keep me in line, yo. Yo, so that was one of the things I was going to tell you guys, but since Melva asked right away, Brendan did not get to testify. Brendan was in their authentic, good afternoon, authentic. Yeah, so Brendan was in. I'll just jump. You know what? It's the end of the day, man. Let's jump around. Let's have some fun. Let's do questions first, and then we'll do a recap after. Brendan, let me tell you. So Brendan came in before lunch. I think it was in between. Oh, Brendan came in before we actually even started testimony for Agent Palladina. Brendan came in. Diddy was off doing something, and they're like, hey, we have 10 minutes. Want to just do Brendan? Brendan came in, he sat down, and they said, Brendan, were you subpoenaed to come here? He says, yes, I was subpoenaed to come here. He says, well, what are you going to do with that? He said, I would like to plead the fifth. And with pleading the fifth, the government has an option to grant you immunity. And with granting you immunity, you have to testify. You can no longer plead the fifth if the government gives you immunity. And of course, warn him that the only way that he will get immunity is that if he tells the truth on the stand. So he was there. He said yes. They did not swear him in because they knew they still had the agent to continue her testimony and her cross-examination. I'll just give you guys a insight. That's what I like to try to do. That things that you cannot get on Twitter feeds. Brendan Paul, well dressed, shaved, hair cut, looking good. He had on a fully black suit. almost kind of looked like tuxedo-esque a little bit. He had some like little shiny on the lapel. He had on a white button-up, no tie, no socks, you know, the little high cut with the pants, and black dress shoes. He looked good. He looked like he was in good spirits. He didn't look like he wanted to be there, but he definitely looked like he was in good spirits. They gave him immunity, so technically speaking, Brandon Paul has flipped. He has been given immunity. He will testify under immunity. He pled the fifth. He has been given immunity. We were told that we were going to get to him today, but the cross-examination of Agent Pelladini, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, took longer than expected. I told you guys a little bit about that at lunch. I'll tell you more about it as we go on through the daily wrap-up. But we weren't able to get to Brandon. A friend of mine who I was sitting beside, she was like, oh, I just actually saw him leave. Because the court was supposed to end at 3, and at like 2:15, we're like, yo, Tenny is still going up there, and the prosecution still has a chance to redirect after cross-examination. So we just knew that he wasn't gonna get up. And then a friend of mine, like I said, she went out and she came back in and she's like, yo, I saw him leaving. So we will see Brandon. Hold on, did they? Yes, both sides rested with the agent. So that means tomorrow we'll start with Brandon. So 100% make sure you tune in for lunch. I will give you an update on what Brandon's testimony is going to be. If there's anything that happens over tonight, I'll tell you about it in the morning before court starts. I'm sure we'll know more about juror number 7. If anything happens like today, I'll run out and tell you. But if you want to know about Brandon Paul, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for lunch, okay? Let me see if there's any other questions before I give you a little roundup. Maybe we just do all questions today. Maybe that's how we do it. Because I did give you a pretty good roundup at lunch, and I just have a few things to add here. Chi-Town is always in the building. Of course Chi-Town is always in the building. North Carolina in the house. Somebody said Freakoff. There, not Japan. Did Brendan testify? Okay, here, this is where we go. Good news, good news, good news. Okay, this. Jury number 7 is in question. Yes, juror number 7 is in question. Maybe I should just get to that because that is what's really important. Well, everything is important, but if you want me to, hold on for 1 second about juror number 7, just 1 second before we get to that. Hey Trent, the Freakoff used to happen a long time ago, but handled in a different way. I got invited to one without knowing. Good thing I said no thanks to meeting Richard Pryor. Okay. Cancun's in the building. This guy want your bank account, his eyes, tell it? I don't know what that is. All right, maybe I should just go into some information because there's not that many questions here. Everybody's just saying hi, checking in, hold up. Let me see if there's some questions. All right, okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do, seeing that there's not any questions, again, I gave a pretty good recap at lunch. I guess I'll just do a quick summary for those who haven't seen it, just tuning in, or any new followers. I'll give you guys the background information on juror number 7 and let you know what happened throughout the day with juror number 7. I'll also let you know about more details about the Freakoff tapes. The jury saw close to 20 to 25 minutes of Freakoff tapes. The prosecution only played 2 minutes. The defense today played a good 20, 25 minutes of Freakoffs, all right? Juror number 7. On Friday, juror number 7 went up to the judge and said that he got a text message from somebody who he did not recognize. And the text message asked him, hey, are you juror number 6? The judge went ahead and questioned him, called the rest of the lawyers in. By the way, this is before juror number 6 was dismissed, okay? This was just this past Friday. The judge asked and started questioning juror number 7 and was like, hey, how did some strange person just get your number and ask if you're juror number 6? It doesn't really sound too believable. The judge told us yesterday that he has some evidence, or was it this morning? Either yesterday or this morning, that he has evidence thinking that juror number 7 is talking to people, and he doesn't think it was a strange number. He thinks that the juror was trying to be slick and cover himself up by saying, oh, this is a strange number. So for example, let's say I tell one of my friends, yo, bro, I got onto the jury trial, the Diddy trial here, blah, 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 and we talk about it. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, news starts getting about jury number 6. And my friend, instead of calling me to be like, hey, bro, are you juror number 6? He sends me a text message and he's like, hey, yo, Trent, are you juror number 6? So what I do in that case, because this whole court is around text messages, so I'm sure juror number 7 was like, the fact that he sent me a text, let me cover my butt and go in and tell the judge, hey judge, I got this text message from somebody who I don't know. So the judge and the rest of the lawyers didn't believe him. They think that he is talking to other people. Now, just want to make sure I reiterate this. I won't go into depth like I did at lunchtime, but I just want to say, every time we talk about jurors, I really think one of the biggest mistakes that the judge has made was not sequestering the jurors. That was a really, really big mistake. We've already seen juror number 6 be dismissed. That is definitely changing the makeup of the jury pool. If he was sequestered, he wouldn't have the opportunity to go and see his girlfriend or his kid that lives out in Newark. We wouldn't have had that problem. Just like juror number 7, who I'll tell you soon what the outcome is, but we wouldn't have had that problem because he wouldn't have his cell phone and he wouldn't be texting or have the opportunity to talk to his friend because he would have been sequestered. This is a major, major, major trial. Some say it's the trial of the century. The government has spent millions of dollars just raiding Diddy's house in LA, Miami, and New York. Do you have any idea how much that cost? Do you have any idea the amount of money they put into this? It's beyond millions of dollars. The fact that this trial might end up in a mistrial because the judge can't handle the jurors is a mistake on the judge's part, and I really like this judge. He is super fair and he is super nice, but this is a huge, huge mistake not sequestering the juror. It's only 2 months. It's not like the OJ trial where he's sequestered for 9 months. It's 2 months to be on a trial of the century. This is the Southern District of New York. You could have found 12 jurors and 6 alternates to say, sequester me for 2 months. Don't forget, when you're sequestered, you are fed, you're put into a hotel, you're doing whatever, blah, blah. Yes, you can't talk with the outside world, but it's not like you're sleeping on the street or something. You know what I mean? It's not that bad to be sequestered for 2 months for jury duty. So I really didn't like that. Another thing to point out, again, I pointed out at lunch, I won't go in depth, but the judge put a gag order on the lawyers. Why would he put a gag order on the lawyers if he doesn't think that the jury is going to watch the media? The gag order is not for us, the public. That's not why he's putting a gag order and saying that the lawyers can't talk. He's doing that because he doesn't want any information to get to the jurors. But the jurors are not supposed to be watching the TV or the media anyways, so it's counterproductive, which that indirectly tells me that the judge does not 100% trust the jurors. That's why he's gagging the lawyers. If you have to gag the lawyers, you should just not let the jury go home. You should sequester the juror. Huge mistake. Another thing that I just like to point out, when these rules were made about, jury and for them not to look up and for them not to talk about the case, these laws were made years ago before social media. Yes, in the 80s, in the 70s, maybe even the 90s. It's very possible for you to be on a jury and then say, okay, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna make sure that I don't read anything about it, because in the 90s, you'd have to pick up a paper to get the news or turn on 3 channels or 4 channels to get the news, to hear about a trial like this. This is 2025. Every single person has a cell phone. Every single person has some sort of electronics in their house, whether it be iPad, Amazon, Siri, this or whatever. There is notifications. There is so much media. You cannot turn on your TV without getting some sort of information about the Diddy trial. I think it's literally impossible to ask a jury not to put themselves in a position to hear about something about the Diddy trial. It's impossible. You cannot go on your phone without getting some sort of alert about the Diddy trial. So how do they expect for the jury to keep themselves out of the media attention or getting any of the media's news? I just think it's impossible in 2025. If this is another jury that gets kicked off, I definitely think this will be grounds for a mistrial. I've been saying every time I get on these lives, every time I talk about mistrials, Diddy's team really doesn't think any of their other requests for mistrials really was a request for a mistrial. They're just doing that so they had it on the docket so that they could use it for grounds for appeal. My personal belief is that if juror number 7 does get dismissed and Diddy's team asks for a mistrial, I think it would be very justified to ask, and I think it actually should be granted. It is shown, this will show that 2 jurors in the past 3 days would be dismissed. Yo, where there's smoke, there's fire, my friends. If 2 are dismissed, then that means the rest of the jury is somewhat compromised. 1,000%. We just haven't heard about it yet. And what are we going to do? Keep on going for another 2 weeks, and then we find out next Monday or next Tuesday? No, I think if this juror gets off, I'm not saying there should be a mistrial, but Diddy's team already said they're going to request a mistrial for getting rid of juror number 6. Imagine if they get rid of juror number 7, for sure they're going to ask for a mistrial. So the judge addressed this on Monday, and he told us that, and he asked the lawyers, how would you like me to handle number 7? And he brought them over to a sidebar, okay? So that was Monday. Now let me tell you, for those who did not see the update at lunch, the judge walked into the courtroom this morning. I'll tell you guys quickly for those who haven't heard it. And I've never seen the judge walk in like this. And I've never started so early. I was literally doing my morning live and they bringing in the line and I had to like hang up with you guys really quick. And I'm like, what is going on? They're like, the court is starting early today. Normally we start at 9, it started at 8. I was like, something is wrong. I haven't here even on my notes. Brian Steele is sitting back beside Diddy. Diddy is wearing a beige crew neck. He looks stressed. We're starting at 8 o'clock. I feel there's tension in the room. Before it even started, I'm like, something is wrong. Yo, the judge walked in, man, serious, stone face. He sat down and he's like, who spoke to the media? Which person from the legal team spoke to the media? Mrs. Comey, do you know how they got the information for that article? Sorry? All right, bro. All right, brother. Respect. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. I have no idea what he just said. So he came in and he was like, who spoke to me? And although we don't know right away what this article he's talking about, he was like, yo, sorry, I just want to make sure that this guy's cool here. All right, bro. All right, man. So the judge is like, who spoke to the media? How did they get the information for that article? Ms. Comey got up, says, Your Honor, we did not leak any information to the media, nor did anybody on my team. He said, Mr. Garagos, please stand up. Mark Agofina, please stand up. Did you speak to the media? What is going on with that article? Again, this is how we're starting off. We don't even know what article he's talking about. Mark says, Sir, it was not me who leaked it to the media and nobody on my team. He said, well, somebody is lying. The judge this morning called the prosecution and the defense liars. He said, somebody is lying. We spoke about this on Monday. Remember, I just told you they decided to have a closed-door meeting Monday, yesterday. They cleared the courtroom, and they said the only people that were in this room to talk about juror number 7 were myself, the clerk, and the lawyers here. And if it was just us, 10 or 15 people, and then we see an article that night, somebody here had to talk. And it definitely is not the judge, it's definitely not the clerk. So was it the defense or the prosecution? Nobody said anything. Literally, it was like kindergartners like sitting down and the principal and the teachers like yelling at them. These are like some of the biggest lawyers in the world, definitely the biggest legal team in the US, and they're sitting down there like little kids like, it was crazy to see, man. I'm telling you, this trial is nuts. I'm so happy I'm here to witness it. He then questioned Mark Agofina a second time. He only questioned Maureen Comey once. And he said, Mr. Agofina, I would like to know, what time were you aware that the article was out? Mark stands up and was like, what time, Your Honor? Why is he hesitating? Why is he hesitating? So he looks down at Tenny, and Tenny was like, he goes, we were made aware of it when the government sent it to us. Yo, the judge asked you what time. He didn't ask you how you got it, how you found out about it. The judge asked you one time. Mark Agofino is a defense attorney. It's his job to question people on a stand and get them shook. Why is he shook in front of the judge? What is he hiding? He should be able to answer those questions without any sort of hesitation. That's what makes me feel like maybe he knows something that's going on. I'm not saying it was the defense team that spoke to the media and talked about this article of juror number 7. Anyways, the judge said, so Mark said the prosecutor sent it to him, and that's when he found out. And the judge said, Mark, I would like to know the time. And he says, I don't remember the time, sir. He doesn't want to answer the time because he doesn't want to get caught up. He doesn't want to come up with a lie and be like, yo, I got it at 7 o'clock, and the article maybe came out at 9. or 10, who knows, right? The judge says this is a breach of local rule 23.1. Don't quote me on that number. I was writing fast. He said there is a gag order and you broke that. Because of those two rules that were broken, somebody, if we catch whoever it is, they could face criminal charges. This is potentially compromising this trial. The lead counsel for each side is responsible for any leaks in their camp. Maureen Comey, Mark Agafuna is responsible. The judge says that he's going to continue to investigate, and he made Maureen and Mark promise that they will continue to investigate their team and come back to him and find out who leaked and spoke to the media and talked about juror number 7. Okay. Now, earlier in the morning on my morning live, I gave you information about juror number 7. I never told you guys how I got it. And I'm not going to tell you guys. I still even have it in my phone. I don't want to say it now until they actually find out who it is, but I did. Anyways, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to implicate myself, but anyways, I'm just going to leave it at that. So let's continue with juror number 7. I almost just messed up there a little. Woo, Trent, don't get yourself in trouble. We'll wait to see who comes out and what says what. When it comes out and the lawyers and they figure out, then I'll let you guys know, okay? I'll give you the tea, don't worry, I will tell you. I just don't want to get ahead of myself, all right? So that is it for juror number 7. So that was in the morning. The judge says, all right, you guys investigate, we'll investigate on our side. Miss Comey, you investigate on your side. We will speak at the end of the day today. The judge promised us that he would speak to us at the end of the day today and let us know what's going on with juror number 7, okay? So I'm going to skip so we just stay on track. Now, juror number, actually, hold on, let me see something. Maybe I should keep y'all in a little bit of suspense. Do you want me to just tell you what happened to juror number 7, or do you want me to tell you what happened during the day and then end off with juror number 7? Hold on, let me just get my notes here. Yes, just tell you now? All right, okay, fine, I'll tell you now. So, somebody said both, tell you today. Because I like taking you through the timeline, because this is this morning, and he said, yo, somebody said, yo, tell us now. They are, hold on, so this was the morning. Hold on, let me get to my notes. Hold on a second here. Hold on, so the judge is pissed here, 7. Oh, Jorge, let me tell you this. So then in order, so he says, all right, guys, we'll tell you this afternoon what happens with juror number 7. But he said, I would also like to address juror number 6. Somebody said go with the timeline. Thank you. They said, all right, that's it for juror number 7. We'll talk about it at the end of the day. Juror number 6, the defense asked juror number 6, the defense asked in the morning, what did the judge tell juror number 6? How was he dismissed? We want to know if they know, the rest of the jury, and if juror number 6 knows if it was a prosecution that asked for him to be dismissed. The judge said he looked into it, and the only thing that juror number 6 knows is that he was excluded and that he was dismissed. That's the only thing he knows, and the jury was told. The jury wasn't given any evidence. But now that juror number 6 has been dismissed, now he can go out in the media and he's going to hear why he was dismissed, that it was a prosecution. But the actual juror, the alternates and the juries who are still there, they don't know why number 6 has been dismissed. Why is this important is because it's kind of like when you're on a team, right? If you're on a football team and somebody gets, the coach like kicks somebody off or whatever, you kind of maybe will hold malice to the coach and was like, yo, that's my friend, why'd you kick him off the team? So the prosecution and the defense really wanted to know what is the jury? What is the state of mind of the jury? And right now they have no idea what happened with juror number 6. Of course, they don't know what's going on with juror number 7 either, unless they've looked in the media. If they looked in the media and they know, it's not a good look for the prosecution because you don't want the jury to think, yo, you got rid of my friend. Although they're not allowed to talk amongst each other about the trial, they are still allowed to talk amongst each other and they're going to build a bond. Just think if you've been spending a month with somebody every day from 9 to 5 and all of a sudden they're gone, you're going to want to find out. I'm sure they know it was a prosecution. That is not a good look, all right? So let me just go in chronological order here now. Also, before the day started, the judge asked the defense, how many days is your trial going to last? And they said 2 to 5 days, which for me, I think is a huge, huge red flag. The prosecution said that they were going to end tomorrow, but because they couldn't get Brandon Paul on today, the prosecution said they're going to rest on. Hey, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, but Mesrash. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Thank you so much for the super chat. If you want, let me know exactly how to pronounce that. But MESRACH. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I need dinner, so thank you for that. So where was I? Where was it? Oh, yes. So the prosecution is going to rest on Friday. That means if the defense only takes 2 days, that means the case could be presented and handed over to the jury as early as next week, Wednesday. But don't you guys think that's a huge red flag? The fact that the defense only needs 2 days? The prosecution had almost 6 weeks. Diddy hasn't said a word since the Cassie lawsuit. November 2023, the only thing that we've heard from Diddy is that horrible apology that he put on Instagram after the CNN tape came out. We haven't heard from Diddy in close to 2 years, and you tell me all you need after all these allegations is 2 days to give us a defense? 2 days? That's a red flag, yo. You need more than 2 days, bro. I've been telling you guys almost every live, Diddy's defense strategy, Mark Agofino told TMZ that this case is going to be, their defense is going to be that the feds are trying to take down a successful black billionaire. How do you prove that the United States government is taking down a black billionaire in 2 days? I've been trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. I say to everybody when they ask me, oh, who's winning, who's losing? You have to give the defense an opportunity to present their defense, just like we gave the prosecution an opportunity. But 2 days, Mark? 2 days? You guys have 10 lawyers, Diddy's spending $4 million a month, and all you're gonna do is go up there for 2 days, and you know there's gonna be an expert witness talking about the CNN tape. You know there's gonna be somebody who's talking about mental health and therapy to counteract what Don Hughes says. Diddy did not find one person to testify for him. That is crazy work, let me tell y'all. Now, having said that, here is 3 working theories, and you guys could choose from one of them. There could be 3 reasons why he's saying that they're only going to need 2 to 3 days for their defense. One, it could be that he's just playing games and he wants to try to bring a surprise witness and make sure the prosecution is not prepared, which would be ridiculous because these are some of the best prosecutors, the Southern District of New York. They're prepared for anything. But the reason why it is possible is because the past 2 days, the judge and the prosecution has said, Your Honor, we would like the defense to tell us who his witnesses are going to be. What is his witness list? How many days? And he keeps on beating around the bush and he's not giving us answers. So that could be part of their strategy where they want to not give up what they want to talk about and who they want to talk about. So that's one theory. The okey doke. The second theory could be that the prosecution has put on a pretty good case, but the defense has also done a good job of poking holes. Right? Bonna, Mia, Jane, I think we can all agree that Cassie was pretty sound. But even today when I tell you about, oh my gosh, Miss Beasley gave me a super chat. Thank you so much. Bear, 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 bear. Hold on, it's too loud over here. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you guys. So it could be, you guys can still hear me with that beeping, right? I hate that when the ambulance passes by and the big noise. All right, okay, good, we're good. So my second theory could be that they think that the prosecution's case is strong, but they think maybe it's weak enough that they don't need to put on a defense or a big enough defense to counter it. They feel like their defense was poking holes in their testimony during cross-examination. That is a second theory. The third theory, and I think you guys are gonna like this, the third theory on why the defense would only put on a 2 or 3 day defense is maybe the defense knows they have 1 or 2 jurors already on their side. Maybe in their back pocket, maybe it already started out that way, or maybe they have jury watchers that are like, yo, there is 1 or 2 people for sure that are voting not guilty. They're gonna cast their vote as not guilty. Just hurry up and get there. Don't waste your time putting on, because I'm telling you right now, the jury is exhausted. People are like falling asleep, they're yawning, they are exhausted. If the defense goes and puts on a 3 or 4 week trial, they're going to lose this jury. It's summertime. People want to be outside. They got to wake up at 6 o'clock, go home at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. It will be very, very hard. Oh my gosh, another super chat. Thank you, SWYN. Thank you so much. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but SWYN, Sweden. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate y'all, man. Y'all are treating me to dinner today, man. I love y'all. So it could be that they've already had somebody in their back pocket, or it could be that, yo, we know the one juror that is going to vote not guilty and nothing is going to change her mind. Let's just get to it. Now, I'm telling you, I see the jury every day. I cannot tell you 100% of one person that is like for sure going to vote not guilty, but the older lady, I call her like the auntie or the grandma, she looks like she is not impressed with Jane, Mia, Cassie. Like she looks like she is just like old school, like these girls got themselves mixed up or whatever. Like it does, again, there's another girl, a black girl. She too looks like she could be on Diddy's side. Who else? There's a couple of people that just, it's very, very, very hard to read the jury. Very hard. Like even when they're watching the Freakoffs today, like it's very hard to get a read on them. But if you watch them really closely, there's little kind of like inklings that you could get of seeing the testimony, and when especially the Janes, the Mias, and the Cassie are speaking, that it might not get over to them. They might not understand trauma bonding. They might not understand why a woman in a situation like that would put herself in a situation like that. Every time the prosecution shows a text message from Cassie saying, I don't want to do these freakouts, I don't want to be here, etc., 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 I hate this, I hate you, whatever, blah, blah, the defense shows them an email that's like, a text message that's like, yo, I can't wait to freak off. What do you want to do? Where's the baby oil? I'm getting candles or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So you can see in the comment section, there's like, yo, Diddy's going to jail, yo, Diddy is free. All you have to do is get one person. So that's my theory. One, they're playing the game, and they are gonna actually go longer than 2 or 3 days, and they'll just have like a surprise bombshell witness. What up, man? B, that's A. B, it could be that they feel like the prosecution just didn't put on a good case. Or C, they feel like they already have their jury won over and they do not feel they're gonna plead guilty. I think all 3 of those are risky. I would put on my case, but hey, if you don't have a case to put on, what can you do, right? All right, so that was, hold on, I lost my page here. Anyways, I'm not rushing because I have the whole day. If y'all wanna just chill and hang out with me, hey, yo. All right, okay, so that is it. Let's start the trial. So Agent Paladine walks in. Well, I told you first Paul walked in, but I already told you that. Agent Paladine walks in. So for those of you who haven't seen Keep Up That Energy When Diddy Gets Released. All right, I'm going to get to the questions soon. That's what I like about the end of days. I can get to questions. Keep putting your questions. I'm going to be answering them shortly. I don't have much, right, because there's not many details about today, but there's a lot of things I want to get across to you guys, okay? So Agent Paladine, what she is that she was the one who put the summary charts together, and they're bringing her in as the prosecution to give credit to the summary charts. What is a summary chart? A summary chart is, think about it like an Excel spreadsheet, and all the evidence, instead of just being like all thrown to the jury, it's in a nice little summary chart. So it's Cassie texting Diddy, this is the time, this is the date, this is the text messages. So it's just easier to flow and you can see the evidence. So there's text messages, there's emails, there's receipts, which go to Rico, and then there's also videos, the Freakoffs. So they're the ones to take everything, organize it, and it's not just, oh, this is a text message. They have to go and get the receipts and show that this is actually a text message from the company. Here is the evidence that it actually came from Boost Mobile or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So now the jury knows that if there's a text message, this has been corroborated, and this person knows who's in charge of the summary charts, okay? So, oh Lord, I thought that was a rat, it's a bird. Okay, so let me just run through this quickly, okay? So they start off the summary charts, and this is the same thing that they did yesterday, where I told you it was very smart of them, because they were able to get KK to testify without her actually being here through the summary charts. They got they got permission to go through and seize KK's phone. They put her text messages in the summary charts, and they had the agent just read KK's text messages. So you don't have to give KK immunity. You don't have to put her up on the stand. Through text messages, the person who does the summary charts can read out the text message. The jury gets to hear what is happening with Sean, with Diddy, with Cassie, KK, and everything through summaries. It's actually a brilliant way to get a testimony out, okay? So it started off by showing receipts, hotel receipts, that Diddy was paying it off with Bad Boy Records. They do know that it was Freakoff because there was damages to the carpet. There was one for $5,000 cleaning the room and a linen damage. Some of you out there might be like, oh, he, maybe this is not RICO because he could be using hotel rooms for meetings for Bad Boy or for Ciroc. Well, why do you have baby oil stains on the carpet? That is what they put in the summary charts, not just expenses that could be Bad Boy. They're trying to prove RICO. One of them was an invoice that was paid by Bad Boy for a hotel, but the damages were $48,000. $48,000. That is a proof of RICO, not 100%, but it's like, why are you taking your corporation's money to pay for Freakoffs and you guys are having damages and ruining hotel rooms? See, there's people saying free Diddy right on the street. See, you guys are both arguing amongst each other. I feel you. Everybody has the right to their own opinion. I feel y'all, man. All right. They also showed text messages from Cassie saying that, this is the prosecution, by the way, showing that Cassie said that I have a black eye, I'm tired of getting pulled around, I'm tired of doing all of these freak-offs. Again, the summary witness and the summary chart is just summarizing everything that the jury heard over the past month. So instead of bringing back Cassie, which they couldn't, but it's a way to just remind the jury, hey, before we close, we just want to go through a summary of everything they showed you, okay? So they're highlighting invoices, they're highlighting the fact that Diddy was spending money on freak-offs, they're highlighting that he was spending, cash, taking out cash out of Combs Enterprises. They highlighted that he was using KK, who was hired for a chief of staff for Bad Boy, but she was really organizing freak-offs. These are all things that are illegal that you cannot do. So they're just showing evidence through the summary charts, okay? So, like I just told you, Cassie, KK, D-Rock, and everything. Now, this is what I really want to tell you. During cross-examination, now the defense gets to come up and be like, all right, y'all had your fun with the summary charts. Let me talk to you guys about the summary charts. Let me tell the juror what the prosecution is missing and telling you about these summary charts. So they'll take one line in the summary chart and then say, hey, you see this here? It says October the 17th, and they're showing you that Diddy was at a hotel, Cassie was there, and they're showing you a text message saying, I can't believe you pulled my hair. I really don't like you. The defense was like, hey, what about this text message that came an hour before that? And it was like, okay, what's the text message? They would show it and it would be like, Cassie was the one who asked for the freak-off. There was text messages that the prosecution did not put in the summary report that showed proof that Cassie was very into having freak-offs. Now, some of you are gonna say that she was doing this because she was under Diddy's spell and she was only doing to make him happy. Yes, that is a theory, but again, I'm not here to take sides. I'm here to just to tell you what the prosecution is doing and give them credit when credit is deserved, and also the same thing with the defense. It was really smart of the defense to go through line by line and say, if you're gonna talk and you're gonna put things in a day and you're gonna put the bad, you also gotta put the good. So if the freak-off didn't work out and it makes it look like Diddy's a bad person, let's go back earlier in the day and find out who was even asking for that freak-off. And it turns out that it was Cassie, okay? They have also showed very explicit things. Cassie saying how much she loves the D word, how much she loves Diddy, how much he makes her have the O word multiple times. Again, the prosecution was trying to paint Diddy out to be a bad guy. Then the defense tried to paint Cassie out to be the bad girl, okay? What else was here? So Cassie to Diddy, just back and forth text messages, really showing how much Cassie really liked freak-offs, how much she liked trying to organize them. There was one text message that the defense found that the prosecution did not put into the summary, and Diddy was saying, hey, what's up? What do you want to do tonight? And Cassie says, not much, I'm just here chilling. Are you trying to ask me for a freak-off? And Diddy answers, no, I'm actually not in the mood for a freak-off at all. I just want to chill and I want to be with you. Fair is fair. If you're putting in the bad of him coercing her, what about the times that he doesn't want to do a freak-off? You got to tell the jury each side. It's the defense's job to paint a full picture. I thought they did a really good job. Now, what y'all want to hear about, the Freakoff videos. They did the thing with the invoice, they did the thing with Cassie, they did the thing with KK, they got to the Freakoff videos. They said, and listen to this, it's very, very important, it's very key. Yesterday, when the prosecution played the Freakoffs, they said, jury, we have 3, or I think it was maybe 4 Freakoff tapes. They're in between 20 to 30 minutes each. We are going to play for you a total of 2 minutes. So they play, let's say, like 15 seconds of one, 30 seconds of another, etc. In total, yesterday, out of 4 Freakoff tapes, the jury heard 2 complete minutes. Yesterday's podcast, end of the day, I told you guys, oh, sorry, not yesterday's podcast, yesterday's live, I told you guys that we in the gallery were able to hear faintly. You're not allowed to see anything. Only the jury was allowed to see. Not even the lawyers were seeing the Freakoffs. But they gave them headphones. And you know when somebody's like on the bus or even walking beside you and they have headphones on and it's loud and you can hear faintly what's going on? Yesterday, I was able to hear a little bit of the Freakoff. At least I could say I heard. Actually, I don't even want to have heard. Gross. But I heard some slurping and I heard some, you could tell that they were listening to something that was Freakoff-esque. You can also tell by their faces. Now today, the security guard got really smart and knew that we were listening. And I'm talking not just content creators, CNN, TMZ, ABC, or whatever. As soon as they put the headphones on, we were all like this. The security guard was like, sir, your honor. We could faintly hear stuff or whatever. So they turned down the volume. Today, I wasn't able to hear anything. And today, their faces were not saying as much. But here is what I want you guys to know about today and the Freakoffs. Very important to always talk about both sides. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, I'm just giving you the information and you determine what you want to think of this, okay? Yesterday, the prosecution played 2 minutes of a total, let's say an hour and a half, they played 2 minutes. Today, the defense team played close to 20 to 25 minutes of a Freakoff tape. They played the beginning of what they saw yesterday and the end. Basically trying to insinuate that yesterday, for example, the prosecution, let's say a video is 20 minutes. Yesterday they played from, minute 11 to minute 12. That's all you're gonna see. Today the defense was like, we're not gonna play from minute 10 to minute 12, we're gonna play from minute 5 to minute 15. So maybe there was something that was bad that they wanted the jury to see, but today the defense did a great job of dispelling that because it's like, in context, it doesn't look so bad, but without context, it could look really bad, and that's what the prosecution showed yesterday, and that's why their faces were like, ugh, yesterday. But today, you got to have context because they watched the beginning of the Freakoff, the middle of the Freakoff, and the end of the Freakoff. Don't take my word, I don't know if it was to that extent, but the point is that they showed them the beginning and the after of what they saw yesterday, and I think that was a brilliant, brilliant move. You ask yourself, if somebody has evidence and that's close to an hour and a half long and they only play you 2 minutes of it, what is it that they don't want you to see? And again, I don't know because I'm not seeing it. I have no idea. And it's not for me to draw those conclusions. I'm here just to tell you the facts. But what do you think if somebody plays you 2 minutes of 2 hours and then the next person gets to go up and plead their case and they're like, yo, I want to show you 25 minutes of something? I don't know. I thought it was very, very, very important. Just wanted to tell you, while they were watching the Freakoff, Diddy was locked in on the jurors. Yes, the gallery, like the CNN, the Twitter, the TMZ, the YouTubers, of course we're locked in because we want to come to report to you guys. Diddy didn't skip a beat. He was staring down the jurors, seeing if you could figure out something, see if somebody's disgusted or see if somebody is smiling or whatever. But the jury knew that everybody was watching and didn't give any example. But Diddy was locked in. One juror gave a little bit of a reaction. She's a girl, like I told you earlier, a black girl, like her hair is like pulled back in like a little bun. She always gives a lot of reaction throughout the day, and she kind of like raised her eyebrow a little bit. I don't know what it is that she saw. One guy scratched his head, but I don't know, maybe he's just scratching his head. I'm reading too much into it, but he was like, almost kind of like a little bit of a confused look, but that's all I have is Diddy looking, the girl doing this, and the guy scratching his head. That's it. So they started yesterday. Okay, I forgot about this. The granny. Remember I told you about the granny that I feel is more on Diddy's side? She was not impressed today with that with that Freakoff video. She had her hand like this, and she was just not disgust, but you know when you're just not impressed by something. And I feel like, you guys let me know what you think about this. I feel like somebody who's older, she's like 60 or 70 years old. I feel like her watching a Freakoff, seeing a girl with, we don't know if it's two men, we don't know if Diddy was there at the same time or if he was off in the background, but whatever it is that she saw, they don't have that kind of like freakiness in them. Like them old school people are like very traditional missionary. So I think the granny especially, I feel bad calling her granny, but the older lady, the auntie. Another super chat, Sandy, thank you so much. I feel like the auntie will look at that Freakoff in a negative light toward Cassie and not understand the nuance of her doing that to please Diddy, her doing that, only because Diddy threatened to put out her tapes. Like, I don't think she's gonna understand the nuance of trauma bonding, because that's not their generation. They don't understand mental health and all of that. And I feel like it could be damaging to the prosecution showing the granny that, especially just the granny, remember it only takes one, and it might come across as negative, in a negative light to Cassie, seeing her there in that kind of situation. She might just be like, why would you ever put yourself in that situation? Why would you ever let a man do that to you, period? I don't know, I'm just assuming, because that generation, any sort of freakiness for them is just totally wrong, but just my observation. All right, so then we broke for lunch. I came out and told you guys everything. Then we came back to more cross-examination of the agent. They showed more Cassie text messages. After, it's funny because we came back from lunch, I thought they were going to talk about the Freakoff tapes, but even yesterday when the prosecution showed the Freakoffs, they showed it but don't talk about it. The prosecution did not talk about it. There was not one question. And then today, the defense showed it and then went right back to text messages. It's like, I feel like it's enough seeing the video, and I guess maybe they don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. I don't know. So they went back to showing Cassie more text messages in support of Diddy. One text message that says, sorry I can't make it today. I have something to do, but I promise I'm gonna be the nastiest, freakiest B word when I see you. That's Cassie saying that to Diddy. Again, very hard to convince a jury that somebody is being SEX trafficked under force, fraud, or coercion when they're sending text messages to somebody saying, I'm sorry that I can't make it, I'm busy, but I'm gonna make it up to you and be the nastiest, freakiest B word you've ever seen. Try to tell that to a 7-year-old grandmother. She's gonna be like, man, this girl's just nasty, right? And again, today in the summary charts, it's not hearsay, it's not speculation. You actually see that this text messages has come from the source. They tell you the metadata, they tell you the company, like they subpoenaed the cell phone receipts. So again, it's not a screenshot, it's literally whatever, like AT&T downloaded the conversation and you see it, so it's proof that it's real. It's, by the way, asterisks, be very, very, very careful what you text people. You might be in court one day and it's gonna be used against you in a court of law. I have learned, be very careful what you text. This whole case is all text messages. 95% of our days is hearing about text messages. Anyways, Cassie said, I'm really H-word. I think I could probably say that on YouTube. I don't want to take a chance. She was just texting him that she really wants him, okay? She said, our SEX makes me high. Again, this is just text message showing how much Cassie is into Diddy. Some of you might be thinking she's not really into him. She's just playing, placating. That's up for you to decide. She said, sent him a text message, said, you're the most extraordinary man. I love you so much. I can't wait to have a baby of our own. They were planning, you know Diddy was never gonna have a baby with her. See, but that's where the coercion comes from. Diddy's been talking ish to this girl. She actually thinks that he's gonna have a baby with her. He never looked at Cassie as the type of girl for him to have a baby with, or else he would have. But anyways, I digress. A conversation with Cassie talking dirty with SES workers. I feel like that really looked pretty bad for Cassie. Again, we know she was doing it for Diddy, but some people might not look at the complexities of it and say, yo, if she's forced, why is she text messaging with some of these S workers and she's flirting around with them? A lot of back and forth with plans about FOs. I actually got tired of writing because it was literally text message after text message of her saying she can't wait to be with Diddy again. She really likes Diddy. She likes his D. She likes having SEX. How many workers? Like, they're again, it's the defense, right? So you're sitting down one day with the prosecution and they show you so much stuff that you're like, wow, Cassie hates Diddy. Cassie really hated Freakoff. You'll literally sit down for the whole day and be like, wow, this poor girl. And then you come into court the next day in your head like, wow, Cassie for sure, it was definitely forced fraud or coercion. I know that now from everything I saw yesterday. Diddy is 100% guilty. Then you sit down and it's the defense turn and they play videos and they play text messages and you're like, yo, Cassie's a freaky deek and she really loves this stuff. Like it's good, man. It's a master class in law, man. They're both lawyers, both teams are really, 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 really good, man. Really well, man. So like I said, a lot of back and forth for like an hour. It was actually tiring. People were falling asleep. Like it was pretty crazy, but hey, it's the last hurrah, right? So again, Cassie playing. One of the things that I wrote down is she sent Diddy a long text one night and she said, this is going to be the last text for the night. Listen to this. This is going to be the last text for the night. We are going to play a game. Meet me at a bar and do not break character. I am no longer Cassie for the rest of the night and you are no longer Diddy. Meet me at this bar and we have to pretend like we don't know each other and you have to come and pick me up. I am not Cassie and you are not Diddy. Meet me at this bar and we cannot break character. And no more texting for the rest of the night. I think for me, the defense is trying to show the relationship part. I think they did their thing with showing the FO, but I think they're just trying to show like, I don't think that's anything wrong. Like the role playing, the fun, hey baby, do this or whatever. Like couples do that stuff all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think it lends to the fact of, you know, like their relationship, although yes, it did go bad at some point, that text message showed me that they did have some fun at some point during the relationship. And it did go bad, but she did at one point like playing those games. And I think what happened was that Diddy, being narcissistic and wanting to have more and wanting to have more, he kind of like flipped her. But I just wanted to bring that up. Like, I think at one point they actually had a cordial, fun SEX relationship, because that you could tell that it was Cassie's idea and it was just fun for her to write that to her man. It just went wrong somewhere and that's why we're here in court. Anyways, I want to point that out. They kept on going with other text messages saying that she wants to FO so badly, etc. Redirect, Cassie, redirect, which is the prosecution coming back in like one more time with the summary chart. They pulled up one of the day. You could say hi. Let's say hi. Hey.
Hi, Argentina.
Argentina. We love Argentina.
Yes,
All right.
we love you.
All right. Thank you. Take care. Yeah, so redirect, they came up and they're like, hey, the defense just brought this day, brought that day, and they wanted us to be honest and paint the whole picture. Well, hey, this was really smart. They're like, hey, remember this day defense that you wanted us to put this in? Oh, we actually forgot this, and they put a picture of Cassie with like a cut on her eye or something like that. And it was a day that Diddy like put hands on her. So they're like, oh, sure, we should put the whole day. How about this? And it was really effective because the jury, like, she put the picture of her being a little bruised up, and the jury like didn't like that. So it was a good way to redirect. And of course they put the text message of the day after the CNN tape where she's like, you can't keep on putting hands on me, etc., etc. So that was it. That was done for the day. They wrapped up after that. They did tell us that Bernard Paul would not be coming out. They did say that he'll take the stand tomorrow morning, and the prosecution said there will be 90 minutes of Bernard Paul. We do not know how long the defense will cross-examine him. So maybe even by lunch we might have the entire Bernard Paul. And the prosecution will rest on Friday, not Thursday. All right, I think I got to the end, and now we could talk about, yeah. So court is adjourned, okay, for the day. So now we're waiting and we're being like, all right, let's go. Let's find about juror number 7. And this is the moment y'all been waiting for. The judge clears the courtroom. Clears the courtroom. So we are like, hold on, are they clearing us? Like we're supposed to be gone for the whole day? Like what's going on? The judge said, tell everybody on the gallery to wait outside for my further direction. And we're like, damn, this is the second time he's cleared the courtroom, huh? So we all go outside, we're waiting, wanted to know what's gonna happen with juror number 7. What's gonna happen with juror number 7? He promised us that he was gonna do it on Monday, he waited. Today, then the security guards come back out and we're like, guys, we are wrapped for the day, it's time for you to go home. But here is the tea. I found out I can't tell you from who. I found out that when the judge sent the jury home for the day, they kept back juror number 7. As we speak right now, juror number 7, I gotta tell you this quietly, don't say you heard it from me. Juror number 7 is being held back and he's being questioned by the judge right now. He also, from what I heard, is actively looking into who spoke yesterday to the media. I've been waiting around for a person to call me. It's been 55 minutes now. I'm gonna maybe take some questions and find out so I can be the first one to break it to you guys. We might find out exactly what happens to juror number 7 this afternoon. He is in the judge's chambers right now. That's why they cleared the courtroom. They didn't want to do it in the robing room. They're doing it in the courtroom. They're talking to juror number 7 right now. Juror number 7's fate is in their hands. If he could convince the judge that the number that texted him was not a number he didn't know, and that's if he gets caught lying, because he said to the judge on record, this number that texted me, I did not know. If he could show proof that he did not know, and this was just a random person texting him, I feel like the judge will keep him. If the judge finds out that the number that texted him was actually his friend, and that would mean that juror number 7 told his friend that he was on the juror, and that's why, that means that juror is lying, and the judge will have no choice but to dismiss the juror, because juror number 6 lied about where he was living to see his daughter and his fiance, and the judge dismissed them. If the judge, and they're doing it right now, they're still in there, if the judge finds out that juror number 7 was lying, if he knew that number, he's gonna have to dismiss him, and Diddy's team might apply and request for a mistrial. But hold on. This is another thing that I was waiting to tell y'all. Am I good at building up anticipation? Am I good or what? That's why y'all tune in, right? Let me tell you guys something. Just want to make sure we're here. Yeah. So, let me tell y'all how this works, okay? When a juror is dismissed, there's an alternate juror that comes and replaces them, okay? Somebody was like, Alex Lewis was like, oh, wait, what else? I always got more tea to tell y'all, okay? When a juror is dismissed, there's an alternate juror that comes in, as you guys know. But here's how it works. It's the next alternate juror that's in line. It's not like the judge gets to pick anybody who they want from the pool. So there's 12 jurors, and then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's the 6. So juror number 6 is dismissed. So juror number 13 took number 6 spot. Juror 14 will take number 7 spot if the juror is dismissed. Juror number 14 is a black man. I told you guys about him today. I tried to hint it to you guys. Juror number 7 is the young black man that I told you guys today. Let's say this is how all the jury is supposed to sit, like they're like this or whatever. He sits with his back to everybody. He sits like this. He doesn't let you see his face. When he walks in, he walks with his head down and almost like his shoulder like this. He doesn't want nobody to see his face. I have not seen that guy's face for longer than 1 second. He wears a long sleeve hoodie every day. It's the same hoodie, but just different colors. Sometimes it's black, sometimes it's like a forest green, sometimes it's like a gray, and like a black jeans and like black Air Force Ones. Like, he is super, super quiet. You cannot read him, super serious. I feel like he's like a native New Yorker, almost like somebody from the Bronx. Like, when I tell you this guy is like street, he's hood, he's super serious. Now, that does not say with that description that for sure he is going to be erring on the side of Diddy. However, until we know more and until we know what they're going to cast their decision on, if they're going to vote guilty or not guilty, all we could do is assume. We could only look at the description of the jurors and think if they're going to be on Diddy's side. Juror number 6, a black and Latino who's 41 years old that liked R&B music and reggaeton, you're going to automatically assume, without having any information or speaking to him, that he is more susceptible to cast a non-guilty vote for Diddy versus somebody who skews more to being against Diddy and doesn't understand Diddy or doesn't understand the walk of life that Diddy lives. So I say that to say, if juror number 7 is a young, and let's say you assume that I'm right, young black, well, he's definitely young or black, but let's say he is a New York native. Let's say he does like hip hop. Let's say he knows about Diddy and he understands, hip hop or whatever, and he has a tendency to favor Diddy. Maybe it was the defense team. Remember I told you earlier about Mark Garagos, like why was he slowing down? Why was he not answering the question? Maybe it was Diddy's defense team that leaked that information to the media to put more pressure on the judge to dismiss juror number 7, to get him dismissed so that they can get juror 14, because they just lost a black man. This would be a way to get another black man on the jury. Who is your boy? Who is your boy? That's 100% what's going on. Allegedly. 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 If juror number, say what's up, y'all. What up, what up? If juror number 7 gets dismissed right up here in this building, and I'm gonna wait another like 5 minutes to see if I get word so I can tell y'all on this live. If not, tune in tomorrow morning and I'll tell y'all. We'll definitely find out tomorrow morning for sure, if we don't find out today. If juror number 7 gets dismissed, he will be replaced by juror number 14, who is a young black man who I think is a street dude, not necessarily doing illegal things, but he understands the code and the ethics of the streets, and I think that he would skew towards Diddy and understand Diddy. Although I'm not saying Diddy is guilty or not, or that should be how it works, but that is why the prosecution and the defense pick their jurors. You pick a juror who you think is going to be on your side. The prosecution gets to pick jurors who they think are going to be on their side, and the defense picks jurors who they think they're going to be on their side. The advantage is the defense. You know why? Because the defense, they only need 1. Prosecution needs all 12. The defense just needs 1. And their chances are better with a young black juror from the Bronx or Brooklyn or Queens or Harlem or whatever than the white man who is in jury number 7. That's my theory, y'all. All right. All right. Woo! Somebody says, okay, he might understand the industry. I get it. Sorry, I just get excited when I have these like dope theories. All right, let me go to some questions now. We're at 62 minutes. Let me get to some questions. Woo, you guys have a lot of questions here. Okay, is everything after, okay, no. We already know about Cassie, no, I wanna see some questions. All these texts coming out is terrifying. The things that we have said through text. I am telling you, I'm no longer texting nobody nothing. Yo, FaceTime me, yo, FaceTime me. Even voice notes. They have played mad voice notes from Diddy, Cassie, KK voice notes. Yeah, anything that you say over your phone could be used against you in a court of law. Trust. Well, they have to subpoena your stuff, but crazy. I've been with a 65-year-old woman at the end. And she was freaky, wanted everything I could give her. I learned like happy people, it's not gross, it's normal. Hey, I totally get it. I'm just assuming by the grandma who's there and the look on her face. She's not looking, smiling, whatever. She looks like she's in disgust when she hears these things. And not just every old, I'm sure there's people who's 60, 70, 80 who are totally freaky and going to swingers clubs and stuff. But I'm just saying her age mixed with the way how she's dressed, mixed with the way how the things that she's interested in and not interested in, like she just does not look like she's impressed by this at all. Biggest thing going on in the world is some rapper. Well, it's not the biggest thing in the world going on. We still have the, the LA riots. We still have a lot of stuff that's going on, but this is the biggest trial that's definitely going on for sure. Tell a girl you love her to get a, Sandy, my point is this. Oil needs, okay, Looking for some questions here. Guys, send me in your questions. Let me know anything you want to know what's going on in court. You want to know my opinion on something that was confusing. Let me know, okay? I'm going through and I don't see too many questions here. Oh, somebody said I was sweet, thank you. There we go. Being a freak is not illegal. He didn't do anything. Listen, yes, being a freak is not illegal. But telling somebody, and we saw evidence of this yesterday through the summary charts, KK sent a text message to, sorry, Jane sent a text message to KK and said, KK, I need your help. Diddy just told me that if I don't answer him, if I don't come over, he's gonna give my SEX tapes to my baby daddy. That is coercion. You cannot tape somebody in that kind of position and then use it against them. That is illegal. You guys have to be fair. If you were in that kind of situation and somebody was holding your videos over your head, you wouldn't like it either. It's not just the act of the SEX, it's the fact of what he's doing with these tapes and what he's doing and what he's making these people do because he has those tapes. Just remember, they're not allowed to videotape, they're not allowed to have it against them, but he has it against, they're not allowed to have it against him, but he's not allowed to have it against them. Yes, he will text. It was trauma bonding. There's proof. Boom, boom, boom. Let me see if there's some questions. Damn, would you have stayed? Beauty supply. Jane passed around. Okay. What up, Trent? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Okay, I'm trying to get to some questions. Okay, there's a lot here. I'm just gonna go quickly. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bottom. Put in your new questions for me, okay? Put in your new questions right now. Thanks, Trent. You look more rested today than last week. Yes, I was able to get a little bit of sleep. I've been on a little bit of a better schedule. I am getting 3.5 hours sleep. Last week I got like an hour, hour and a half because I'm recording the full podcast at night where I do other entertainment news. Just like the other person said, everyone's talking about Diddy. I still do my nightly recorded podcast, not live, where I talk about other entertainment and political and viral news. Make sure you check that out too. But yeah, I did get a little bit more rest this week, so thank you. How is Young Miami not testifying? A lot of people ask, how come Little Rod's not testifying? How come Young Miami's not testifying? How about this person? How about that person? The prosecution wants to try Diddy for RICO, SEX trafficking, and they are going to bring the people in to testify to prove those charges. If they get found guilty, if he gets found guilty, he goes away for life. Instead of trying to charge him with 10 things and have the case go on for months, they feel like they have a strong enough case that they can put him away for life. That's why they're not bringing Young Miami. That's why they're not bringing Jennifer Lopez. And this case could last a year if they wanted to investigate and talk to everybody. They're going to bring in the people who they feel is most credible to prove the charges that they want to bring. That's why RICO is in there. If he gets charged for RICO, he's gone for life. People throw out this, Who is on the stand? Juror number 7. Okay. Why is KK not being called to testify? KK is not being called to testify because she is a co-defendant. If she is called to testify as a co-defendant, if she's called to testify, yes, as a co-defendant, meaning they have stuff on her, she could just plead the fifth and grounds not to incriminate herself. Then the government will have to give her immunity. If they could get to read her text messages from her cell phone, she doesn't have to testify, and then they don't have to give her immunity. This is like Jeffrey Epstein's girl there, Giselle or whatever. She might be the next case that's brought up after the Diddy trial. Why give her immunity if you don't have to? The prosecution feels comfortable enough with what they have, and they don't want to give out any more immunity deals. They've given it to Jane, and they've given it to one of his assistants, and they're giving it to Brendan Paul. They don't want to give it to KK. New sub, enjoying the coverage. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Young Miami could be a defense witness. Maybe. I think she's more like of a character witness, but we will see. What's going on? This. Boom, boom, boom. Somebody was saying that juror, no, okay, we're not going to do that. How sex workers to get off. Love your commentary, but can you let your hair down for us? Asking for a friend. No, I cannot let my hair down because I'm going through a bunch of stuff and it's just easier to keep it up. It just keeps it neat throughout the whole day. I'm working for like 16 hours and my hair is super curly. The humidity, the sun, it could just be wild. And it's just nicer to just keep it up like this, no matter what the temperature, all right? If you ladies out there have long hair, you know what I'm talking about. It stays neat. I'm probably gonna like braid it next week or something. Anyways, that is really off topic. Do you think Diddy will walk? All right, everybody asks me that question every day. And here's my answer, okay? It's too early to determine if he's gonna get off or not. That is like asking who is going to win the Super Bowl and it's only the second quarter. And that analogy still is not even good because by the second quarter, the other team would have gotten the ball already. Diddy's team hasn't even gotten the ball yet. We have to give them an opportunity to get the ball before we have an idea. Having said that, I think the prosecution put on a really, really good case, better than I thought. But I also think the defense team did a great job of poking holes in the prosecution's case. It's right down the middle. It is 50-50, man. Hey T, lots of people in here. Yeah, definitely, man. Our lives are popping. Democrats love Diddy. KK playing, okay. Cassie, did Cassie get immunity? No, Cassie didn't get immunity because she wasn't charged with anything. I don't think so. Did Cassie get immunity? No, I don't think she got immunity because they didn't have her with anything. Don't forget, they had Jane trafficking DRUGs, right? Brendan, they caught him with stuff on it. Cassie's thing was so long ago, even if they had something over her, the statute of limitation would be gone. But don't forget, they don't need to give her immunity because Cassie wanted to testify. You only have to give immunity when somebody has done something illegal and they don't want to testify. So you give them immunity to get their testimony. Cassie didn't do anything wrong that they know of, and or it's beyond the statute of limitation. Boom, boom, boom. Do you remember 6ix9ine? Say KK was blah, blah, blah. Hey Mars, what up? She says, is Kanye gonna take the stand? I heard this. No way, Kanye is not gonna take the stand at all. Who would bring Kanye West? Are you kidding me? Kanye West, the prosecution, the day he pulled up, before he actually came inside the overflow room, he came the day before when Jane was on the stand and the prosecution freaked out. Remember they cleared the court? The prosecution doesn't even want him anywhere near in the building, and there's no way that the defense is gonna bring up Kanye West. I mean, you never know, because Diddy is a wild boy, but could you imagine Kanye West testifying for Diddy? That's a surefire way to lose your case. You mentioned that Cassie saw Diddy in 2022 yesterday. Was there anything further mentioned? So I had written that down in my notes, and then I told you before, I didn't say 2022. Somebody said it to me in the chat, and then I said, you know what? I wrote down 2022, and then I scratched it out because that had to have been impossible because she was pregnant and married at that time. But somebody in the chat said, no, you got it right, because I heard about it on a news station. After the live, I went on my computer and I tried to find the story, and I wasn't able to find that anywhere that Cassie was with him in 2022. So I'm standing by my original decision that didn't happen in 2022 because I was not able to find that anywhere. I think if that was really true, it would be everywhere. So I think I was right to have scratched that out and not reported that. That was somebody in my chat. Do you think D-Rock will testify? I don't think so. He's definitely not on the prosecution list. He could testify, but again, is he a good character for Diddy? Is he reliable? We heard text messages, with him and Mia, with him and Cassie. My guess would be that D-Rock is not going to testify for Diddy. Diddy would have to be very, very, very careful who he gets to testify for him. And again, from what we know from Mark Agofino, the Diddy's defense will be surrounded by the fact that the federal government is trying to go after and bring down a black billionaire. What could D-Rock say to bring credibility to that accusation? I think they would have to find somebody who wants to snitch, who's in the government. They would have to have like an email. They would have to have something to prove that. D-Rock is not going to help them with that case. Something about Trump. Okay, seriously. Boom, boom, boom. Somebody said Afro Wild. I agree. What was in the article? Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I can't even keep up. We got a lot of comments here. Oh, I got a super chat. Bah, 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 bah. Thank you. Rescue Dan Compound Factor. NYC has a device police force. They have a young cop that fits Juror 14's ID. What's your take on the other jurors? Does it look like they're picking up what the prosecution is laying down? It's tough, man. These jurors are very, very tough to read. I honestly think, just my honest opinion, I think they actually feel like how I feel, to be 100% honest with you, because both teams are really, really good and they're really convincing. I feel like the prosecution and the defense did a good job of picking a very diverse jury and a very fair jury. And if you are a fair person and you look at this evidence, you go back and forth every day because it's very, very convincing. which means, though, he has a better likelihood of being found not guilty, because if you have a little bit of a reasonable doubt, if you have a little doubt in you that, yes, Cassie may have been coerced, but maybe she kind of liked it, maybe it wasn't trauma. If you have a reasonable doubt, you're gonna have to plead, you're gonna have to cast your vote as not guilty. So it's very, very tough to answer that, man. Diddy has the best set of lawyers compared to the others that are sitting on the federal prosecution side, which is pretty much unlimited resources. Diddy will walk. He does have, but don't. Maureen Comey she's definitely not one to play with, man. Trust. All right. Okay, well, we're getting in a lot of questions here. Questions, Cal. Answer one more question. Do you think KK will be charged if Diddy is convicted? If you were on the jury as of now, acquittal or not? All right, well, I just talked about that, and I do think what it looks like is I do think KK will be charged. That's the reason why they're not having her testify and the reason why they're not giving her immunity. It looks to me like it will be something like a Jeffrey Epstein thing, and they are going, the next case after they're done with Diddy, I think they're gonna probably charge KK. I think the feds think they have a good enough case using KK's text messages. It was brilliant. They got KK to testify without giving her immunity or without actually testifying. The prosecution did a brilliant, brilliant job. All right, hey Trent, excellent coverage. Do you think they have proven RICO? I think they have made a very good case for RICO. I just think there wasn't enough direct evidence for RICO. These hotel rooms and these cleanups, Kid Cudi didn't have any direct evidence. Kid Cudi said, I think he did it. He said he asked Diddy and Diddy didn't give him a full direct answer if he did it or not. So is that enough to convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt that Diddy actually did that to his car? You don't know 100%, right? Trent, are you enjoying your time at NYC? 100%. I used to live here for like 3 years, man. I love NYC. I love it out here. Come on, Diddy will never settle with Cassie. Done, done, done. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to call it a night. Thank you so much for tuning in. We had a great day, a lot of explosive things that happened, a lot of things that were going on. Make sure you guys tune in. I'm gonna call my source right now, find out what's going on. Hopefully I could tell you guys that even before court starts tomorrow morning. We will go live tomorrow at around 7 a.m. for our morning. If I didn't answer your question here, you could ask me tomorrow. I'll try to answer it in the mornings, and the afternoon is the best time. So I'll see you guys then around 7 o'clock. It will be posted. Go to the live on YouTube. You'll check it out there. If anything happens throughout the day, I'll do like today and come out and give you guys an update. If not, check me back at lunch around 12:30, between 12 and 1. And then, of course, the daily wrap-up like we did today, the end of the day. Thank you all so much. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring all my lives. We have a link in the comment section. You get a 14-day free trial with Aura, the #1 digital security platform. They sponsor the Toronto Law Podcast and the lives. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys like this. Whoop, whoop. Oh, my gosh. Maria just gave me an amazing super chat. Whoa, appreciate the reporting. Maria, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Woo, I'm gonna have dinner and relax now. Wow, thank you. I really, really appreciate that, man. Y'all are amazing. Keep on tuning in, keep on tuning in. We are going to be here until the end of the trial. We'll give you guys the up-to-date information. You're not gonna have to wait on anything. I'm right in there. 2 feet away from the courthouse. Anything that's going on, you do not have to check anywhere else but my YouTube channel. I will give you the latest, greatest breaking news, man. Latest, greatest breaking news. Thank you all for tuning in. Go watch the rest of the day. I gave you guys just a summary today. You can watch the morning, the lunch, a lot of stuff that went on today. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm going to record the recorded podcast for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 7, man. Thank you for the support. Love y'all. Peace. Thank you for the super chat.